This week on Most Craved.
Are supernatural horror movies dead or undead?
Give Andy Serkis all the Oscars.
Ape no kill ape. Hey everybody, William Bibbiani from CraveOnline.
Jenna Busch from Geek Nation.
I'm Whitney Seibold from Nerdist.com.
And we're here to talk about some movie stuff. Last weekend, people seemed disappointed that Deliver Us from Evil didn't rock the 4th of July box office. Ryan Turek wrote a great editorial at Shock Till You Drop about whether or not audiences are souring on supernatural horror. They've been underperforming this year so far. What do you guys think?
Well, you know what? I don't know that people are soured on that. I honestly think it's the advertising. I think people are kind of tired of the same commercial and waiting for like the same, oh, it's a low budget horror movie and it's going to have a twist ending.
Also that it's based on a true story. How many times have we seen that in like the last four horror movies?
And I felt like, especially for something like Deliver Us from Evil, which is something bigger, it's about a cop who encounters the supernatural while being a cop. It's like, we know that like New York isn't going to get invaded by ghosts because it's based on a true story. We probably would have heard about that on the news.
I'm thinking.
But the thing is, and I think you're right, I think it is a lot of it how you're being sold, because a lot of the films that are underperforming, films like, we're not talking about underperforming as well, but a lot of films like Oculus or The Quiet Ones or Deliver Us from Evil, which are varying degrees of okay.
Varying degrees of okay. That's very egalitarian way to put it.
I'm a very egalitarian kind of guy.
Okay.
But they're different films. They're very unusual films in a lot of ways.
But they're all marketed exactly the same.
Well, and they all occupy the same sort of this new genre of kind of the neo-ghost story. This is where the current trend
it's like
is.
We're really kind of realistic
The
with
found
this.
footage thing is going away, so now we're in this sort
God.
of trend of, well, I guess mini trend, because it's already dying, of these sort of neo-ghost stories where everything is based on a true story. Everything's shot kind of similarly, even if it's The Conjuring where it's really wild, or, you know, what was it, Insidious Part 2, where everything's just kind of crazy, or something that's a bit more grounded. They'll feel kind of the same.
Yeah, and I mean, it's pretty well established that I love horror, so I'm going to go see all of these anyway, but I would like them to be marketed differently, because, I mean, look, you're never going to get a really new story with horror, or it's going to be very rare that you do, and they're just fun to see, but you have to give me some reason to go.
Well, I think there's also an issue of, I think our standards for a successful horror film have exploded lately, because The Conjuring did so well, because the Paranormal Activity movies did so well, even though they cost nothing.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, if a horror movie that costs like less than $10 million to produce doesn't break $100 million, that doesn't make it a failure.
Yeah.
Like Oculus did okay. What did it make, like $40 million so far, something like that? That was a cheap movie.
Yeah.
That's a success for that kind of movie.
Yeah, and although when you bring something out like this on 4th of July weekend, you usually, like, those are the numbers you're looking for. You're looking for holiday weekend numbers. Right. So I don't think you should really judge it by those standards.
Last year when The Conjuring came out, it was seen as counter-programming. It was like, let's see how The Conjuring does. Even if it does just okay, we'll make money. And then it ended up being really successful, partially because it's a good movie, really good word of mouth, and partially just because it looked good. Like, it looked cool from all the trailers.
Do you think it was just the quality of this one? Does it just stink as a movie?
Well, I think this one, I feel like Deliver Us from Evil, by making it a cop movie and putting it on 4th of July weekend, it implies that it's bigger than it is. It implies that it's an action horror movie in some way, when in actuality, it's not what it was. And I didn't dislike the movie, but I thought it was just sort of middle of the road. I thought it was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, neither as good as it could be.
All right.
And yeah, I just think it didn't stand out enough. It didn't capture people emotionally by saying, these people are like you. What if you had an evil doll in your house? How creepy
Who doesn't
would
have an
that
evil
be?
doll in their house?
Right? It had the owl.
I think something like The Conjuring was a little more just visually striking, so it was an easier sell.
Yeah, I totally
They had, you know,
agree
like
with that.
the Victorian dresses and the rooms full of knickknacks. This one looks like
Cop movie.
any other cop thriller movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again,
The only real striking image is that owl.
the owl scared the crap out of us.
It's there on that screen behind
He's awesome.
We saw this trailer in front of The Quiet Ones, and we were just like, oh God, that owl's going to do something. That owl's going to do something. Oh, the owl did something! It would scare the crap out of us. And that was the scariest part of the movie, and they ruined it in the trailer. It was too bad.
Yeah, we could do a whole show on what they ruined in trailers.
Well, here's the thing. People say this all the time. Is horror dead? Is this horror subgenre
Horror's
dying?
never going to die.
But I do think there's something to be said for Hollywood thinks it's math. You know, audiences like supernatural horror movies, so let's put out a ton of those. And then people get tired of them because horror is based on the unexpected. What's next? Like, what haven't we done yet? What do you think is the next trend going to be? Mummies?
Gosh, I couldn't
Mummies.
say.
Mummies, yes, let's go
Mummy.
with mummies. Let's
Yeah.
let's start that as a hashtag.
Let's trace the trend. In the 70s, it was satanic thrillers.
Yes.
In the 80s, it was teen slashers.
Yeah.
Late 90s, it became sort of that self-aware kind of slasher thing.
Yeah.
Bride of Chucky, Scream, etc.
Yeah, 2000 it became torture porn and also J-horror. Those were sort of
Yeah.
hand
Yeah.
in hand. And then we had found footage and sort of this
And
neo
it sort of
story.
it bled into the supernatural, whether
Yeah.
or not it was.
I think it may go back to sort of classic horror,
like classic horror, like
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 classic
classic,
movie
like-
monsters
like
and new
30s
takes on
kind
them.
of?
That's what I'm hoping for anyway.
yeah.
Well, they're redoing Dracula this
Yeah,
this
it's
October.
sort of-
exactly,
so-
exactly.
Yeah, big
Yeah, maybe we'll
gothic,
get-
having a lot of fun with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be really, really cool. Well, let's talk about what's going on this weekend at the box office.
Planet of the Apes. Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Dawn of the
Dawn
Planet
of the Planet of
So
the Apes.
I said, oh,
They,
yes.
they mixed up those titles
They
because
really
the first
did. That's
one
what-
was the dawn
yeah.
of it, and this one they
This is the
rise.
ride. They're
It's-
rising.
it's
All
very
right, thank you for
confusing.
that.
I'm still kind
Thank
of
you
annoyed
for that. You're
that
making me feel better.
they're using of the and of the rise of the planet of
Yeah.
the.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah. Okay, well, I
dumb,
just
but-
saw this last night.
As did we.
Oh my God! I know you guys didn't like it as much as I
Well,
did.
we liked it just
I
fine.
like
yeah,
it fine.
but
It's a good movie.
but not like I did. I loved it.
You went nuts.
There was
you
a
went,
dance.
You went bananas.
Oh my God! You,
went-
actually just
you went-
said that.
You went ape.
I was trying to resist.
I'm trying not to cry right now.
I
Okay.
want to
but-
get this on home video and adjust the color on my TV and make it Dawn of the Planet of the Grape Apes.
Oh my God! I kind of want to do that
That's
too.
my dream.
Okay, but
Okay,
here's
yes.
the thing: the CGI was so phenomenal,
Amazing.
so
This is the
amazing.
best special effects I think I've seen in like any movie.
Absolutely,
really.
Yeah.
and the amount of acting that came through a CGI character's face and the mocap, of course, and Andy
Yeah.
Serkis is brilliant, but
And also
oh
the
my
people who did
God.
the work to make that play as a name.
absolutely.
No,
Absolutely.
the visual effects are impeccable in a way. In the first one they were great and a
Yeah.
major step forward, but you could see the seams if
Right.
you looked hard enough.
This one, they have like close-ups of ape faces,
Yeah.
like emoting, and you actually see everything.
Yeah.
And you
It's
can't,
uncanny.
You
It's
almost can't
mind-blowing.
tell that it's special effects. It's the
Yeah.
first time where I've looked at a digital effect and haven't been able to say that's definitely digital.
Yeah, and I won't go deep into all the hidden meanings and messages in
It's
the
not
film,
that
but
hidden.
well, no, not that hidden.
It's
But-
not a deep movie. It's just a
yeah.
fun movie. And
But
it's
because
really cool.
one of the things about sci-fi that's so amazing is that you can put a fine point on things you can't really do that with in other movies without it being like smacking you over the head.
Right.
And
Yeah.
there are just a lot of levels to this movie, and I absolutely loved it. Also, Baby Monkey.
Baby Monkey.
It's
Baby
as
Monkey.
deep as a movie can be that has a chimp on horseback firing 2 machine guns into the end
That
air
was
while screaming.
amazing.
Also, I'm pretty
It's
sure
amazing,
that
but it's not exactly a subtle image.
I'm pretty sure they were also saying that chimp was Dick Cheney. So I'm not sure how I.
Well, I talked to another critic. They said it was Obama versus McCain, but chimp style. So it's
I don't
we're
even know what to do
exploring
with
our
that.
political world.
Oh, that's what
through,
sci-fi is for.
Through gun-toting chimps.
As one does.
That's what
And
sci-fi
on
is.
that note, that is it for Most Craved. Hey, everybody, come back next week. Whee!